Hello. For this week's assignment, I interviewed Carla Locchiato Spittler, who is the Associate Director of Public Policy for ASAE, which is the Center for Association Leadership. ASAE is a large nonprofit trade association. It describes itself as the Association of Associations. Now, to put large in context, there are only about 120 employees. So ASAE is not large in terms of many of the organizations we work with, but it is large for a trade association. It supports other organizations through education, advocacy, and community. The way ASAE tries to think about itself, association professionals serve their communities and their members. ASAE serves as the mom to take care of those professionals. To do so, it offers a broad variety of functions. These include education, fundraising, and advocacy. Carla's role. Carla stated that her title is kind of true and kind of not. Like in many nonprofit organizations, employees end up with multiple roles. Her background is in government relations and lobbying, and she is responsible for advocacy and lobbying, but she's also responsible for fundraising to fund the advocacy and lobbying efforts. She leads the Fellows Program. This is a recognition and service program for experienced thought leaders in the industry. Approximately 1% of ASAE's members are recognized as fellows. They attend annual retreats and meetings, which allow them to network among themselves as well as learn new information. They also serve as mentors for new association professionals. Additionally, Carla leads the Power of A program and the Summit Awards. These both recognize associations with innovative programming, and additionally, the funds raised through the awards dinner itself helps to fund grassroots outreach efforts. So here is a simplified organizational structure for ASAE. I wanted to show you the broad range of interaction of some of the programs, even in a functional structure. So Carla serves as the Associate Director of Public Policy. She reports to the Senior Vice President of Public Policy. He is only responsible for public policy advocacy efforts, so there aren't other lines of business under there, although there are other employees. The Senior VP reports directly to the CEO. Two of the programs that Carla runs are shown on here. One is the Fellows Program, and you can see that that touches 5 other areas of the organization. IT for information on the website as well as an internal membership database. Learning, because the fellows serve as mentors within the educational programming. Marketing, for both getting information out and for putting together the events for the fellows. Membership, because the fellows are members. And then, of course, finances. There's a budget related to that program. The Power of A fund interacts with development. There's fundraising related to that. It interacts with marketing because of an awards dinner that is done through the events department of marketing. And then, of course, it interacts with membership because all of both Power of A and Summit Awards winners are members of the organization. What are some of the organizational challenges? Well, first, Carla mentioned red tape. Because ASAE is a large organization, processes can be frustrating. Some of these red tape things make sense. For example, a delay in a change to the website because of the workload in the IT department. She'd like that to happen faster, but she understands why there's a delay. Some of the red tape issues she runs into don't make sense. For example, she's worked directly with the CEO. The CEO has already approved marketing material for her programming, but the marketing department must still complete a multi-level approval process within the department itself. So they require going through their department process, even though there's already been approval at the highest level. Another big challenge is communications. As she said, how do you best communicate internally about what is going on? If you give too much information, people get bored and tuned out. But if you need to communicate what your departments are doing so that other departments can know in case it is relevant. They used to have 2-hour staff meetings where people would go through everything they were doing in detail, and the staff members who were attending hated it. they were busy, they had a lot going on, and they sat there in a meeting listening to information that didn't necessarily apply to them. So they have shortened and restructured their staff meetings. They've created an internal intranet, and they refer people there for details. That solved one problem, but they still have a challenge. How do they make sure that the people that really need to know what's going on see the important information? They have a big initiative going on right now where they're about to roll out some new website changes. These are going to impact everybody across the entire organization. They're going to impact how members interact with the organization and how the members get into internal resources through the website. Many people need to know they're still struggling a little bit with making sure this information gets shared. So my assessment, what we've seen is that even within a well-defined functional corporate structure, individuals do interact across multiple divisions. So whether there's a formal structure that supports that or an informal structure, it is going on and it needs to be supported. Information sharing is essential, but it can become a challenge as organizations grow. As the stakes increase, flaws in the structure become more apparent. Things that can be worked around because of individuals in smaller structures need more structure in a larger organization. If you have something like the major website revision that is going on within ASAE, that could upset many of their members if it's not pulled off appropriately. So it's a big stakes issue for them, and they need to really get the communication of that down pat. A third thing, ASAE has a relatively flat organizational structure, which is great in one aspect, but it has a lot of senior leadership. It may have some other problems because it has such a broad senior leadership. And so I think that's one thing that they may need to address going forward. How do they offer an incentive to employees to continue staying there long term without having to do title creep and responsibility creep?